Hi everyone, this is Grace, and today I'm going to walk you through how I made this Shamrocks set, so let's go. This is sped up ×2, just so y'all know. Okay, this is my more advanced set of Shamrock cookies. I have a beginner Shamrocks class. This is the advanced one, just called Shamrocks. Now, if you are an OG follower, you will recognize quite a few of these designs or elements from these designs from the Clover shape series set I did, I don't know how many years ago, because that was the heavy, excuse me, inspiration for this. I simplified it down though into 5 designs. Excuse me, I have a froggy in my throat. And I really made it more advanced beginner. Some of the designs I would say in my Clover shape series are more on the intermediate end. And I want to make this really accessible. So that outline sidebar I just want to talk about that I did first, that was actually with flood consistency. And that is my best tip for doing this technique where you outline with a different color than you flood with. And it's one of my favorite things to do that just gives a simple touch of elegance of like a different aspect to the design. Like you could just outline with a different color and then flood with a different color, and it just looks like a design, but you literally just flooded the cookie, you know? So I'm using the Anne Clark Cookie Cutters Shamrock design here, which I just think is iconic. But you got to keep in mind that that stem is so easy to break off. I think I broke off I definitely broke off one when I was making the samples. So do not pick up the cookie by the stem, please. You can also obviously do these designs with a 4-leaf clover, which I actually kind of like doing more. The Anne Clark 4-leaf clover is really awesome, but this is for St. Patrick's Day technically, and technically St. Patrick's Day is a shamrock, so I digress. Okay, this is a nod to one of the designs that I did in, they're all nods. Okay, these are little wet 4-leaf clovers. You can make them shamrocks, but for whatever reason, my brain was like, these are going to be 4-leaf clovers. It might be a little easier actually if you did shamrocks instead, because that's fewer dots, you know, to pipe. I was pretty strategic with where I placed the little wet cuties because, as you can see here, first of all, I didn't want to do too many because the more you do, the harder it makes it. But then doing the outlines here is really awesome because, as you can see, the clovers are just in between all the outlines, which I think looks so cool. What you did not see at the very beginning there was I actually poked the center of the cookie with the scribe. And that's just to mark off the center of the clovers so that I could do these outlines easily. This is a 2 consistency outline in flood class, so I outlined with a soft peak. I'll let that crust for a few minutes, and then I'm going to go in with the flood. I'm doing a squiggle first though, as you can see. This is also a soft peak. This is to help prevent craters. Is it foolproof? No. Do I do it anyway? Yes, because it helps for sure. I don't let my squiggles dry, and I don't go all the way to the edge. That's really important. And you don't want to make them too high, because if you make them too high and you don't use enough flood consistency, then the squiggle on the bottom can actually poke through. For this, as you can see, I'm doing 2 sections at a time because depending on how you outline the different sections, that center bit can get just a little too crowded, and you could actually have a little bit of overlap when the icing is wet. So I prefer to just let everything crust over a bit. Like so. Gorgeous. And then let it dry for at least an hour, maybe 2, so that the icing is completely smooth to the touch. And this is just a really cute, simple stitching technique The key here is a couple of things. One, don't go all the way to the edge. Like I like to have a little bit, like a couple millimeters of the green poking through on the outside. And then it's hard to tell here, but these stitches, I am actually lifting the bag off the surface of the cookie. That is always the key to success for a nice clean line. You like what is it? Pipe lift? What am I? Yeah, no, contact, lift, contact. Goodness gracious. They're tiny, tiny lines, but that is the key to success here. And it really is a test to starting and ending your lines really cleanly. Because if you have a tendency to have little beads at the beginning and ends of your lines, you're probably going to find these pretty frustrating. If you want to make it a little easier on yourself, you could probably make the lines a little bit longer. I poked the center of the cookie again, and now I'm outlining again. Sorry, I got sidetracked. Okay, I'm only using 3 colors. The darker green is, I can't remember if I added extra blue to it, honestly. I actually can't remember how I got such a dark green, but that's the beauty of these classes for myself actually as well. Because I don't always remember how I make certain colors, but that's always in the class workbook. So the green is a darker green, but I know that, or the dark green, but this, the lighter green is a green heavy on the yellow. So I know I started with leaf green and then I added extra yellow. The key here for this wet on wet is the white and the dark green are actually bagged in separate bags of icing for like, it's just half an ounce, it's not a lot. And I cut a much smaller tip because for such a small area with such like refinement in the design, if you are using the same bag that you use to flood, the tip of the bag is just going to be way too big and the lines are going to be way too thick and you're going to add way too much extra icing and it's just not going to be good. So yeah, that's the tip there. And again, I'm doing 2 sections at a time. You are adding extra icing with this wet on wet design, so you want to make sure that that green base, you're not necessarily underflooding it, but you definitely don't want to overflood it. The interesting thing here you can see is that I did not I don't know. I did not do the squiggle for these. I don't know why. And it turned out great. Like I'm not sure if they cratered. If they did, it's not super noticeable. So is the squiggle necessary? I don't really know. It's just always so satisfying. And then I'm using my smallest or my thinnest scribe here, I should say. It's the PME scribe. The smaller the scribe, like the finer the scribe pull is, if that makes sense. Not really necessary in this case, but I just like how it looks. Okay, this one. Oh, this one we're keeping it real simple. Right. So this design is inspired by the cookie that broke the internet when I posted this set a few years ago. And it is that outlining that I did on the first couple of cookies. In the cookie that broke the internet, I did it 3 times, which was holy cow hard. For this cookie, I only did it twice because remember, I want to keep this more advanced beginner. And if you want to even make it easier, just do the line once. And you'll see when I say the line, you'll see what I mean in a minute. So satisfying. I love flooding this shape. I don't know what it is, but it's just insanely satisfying. Okay, again, let that dry for about an hour. And then I'm going in with the first line. And the key here, lifting the bag way off the surface, like an inch plus. And that loop in the center needs to be pretty big because we're going to need to loop another line inside of that. It is very important to keep that green line pretty close to the white line so that things don't get too crowded. And that center there, someone once said it looks like a Celtic knot, which I can't get out of my brain, and I just think it looks so cool. Okay, that is the set of cookies. That is the Shamrocks. I don't know. I keep having brain farts. I really hope you enjoyed this, as always, learned a thing or two, and maybe you'll even try to make these cookies yourself. Let me know. Or maybe you fell asleep. Love ya.